Science Link Academy. Today we're going to be considering looking into an aspect called Binomial Theorem. By definition, Binomial Theorem is a general form of expansion of terms, either adding or subtracting, being raised to a power or index or degree. I said Binomial Theorem can also be defined as the word general form of expansion of terms, either adding or subtracting, being raised to a power or index or degree. That is the definition for Binomial Theorem. And if I'm told to solve question, what are the methods of Binomial Theorem? The methods of solving Binomial Theorem are as follows. Number one, we have the general method. General method of solving Binomial Theorem. Number two, we have the Pascal's triangle. Pascal's triangle. And lastly, we have what we call the combination method. The combination method. These three are the method of solving Binomial Theorem. Now, looking into them one after the other. Let's start with what we call general method. Let's take this. Let's start with what we call general method. What is the idea behind general method of expansion of Binomial Theorem? So let's start with what we call general method of what solving Binomial Theorem. Let's take an example and let's see how we can solve it. Example 1. If I have, let's expand this. We're told to expand this using general method. If I have a plus b to power of 2, I'm told to expand this using general method. What is the idea? Mathematically, I know that if I have a raised to power 2, it simply means what? A in two places. A times A, right? Multiplying itself. So therefore, if I'm applying this idea to this, it simply means this term here is multiplying itself 2 times, right? So if I proceed, I'll be having a plus b into a plus b. They are multiplying what? Itself. This is in 2 places. Now, I'm told to expand this using general method. What is the idea? The idea is that simply take the first term, multiply it by all the term in the other bracket. That is the idea. Simply take the first term, multiply it by all the term in the other bracket. So let's do that. I have a, pick out a, into all this term, a plus b, pick out the second term, plus b, into that same a plus b. We said the idea behind general method is that simply pick the first term, multiply by all the term in the other bracket, right? And also pick out the second term, multiply by all the term in the other bracket. So I have this. So my next approach here is that I will multiply. I'll use a to multiply this, and I'll use b to multiply this term. Doing that, I'll be having a squared, a times a squared, a positive a times b, that becomes ab, plus b times a, that is it is ba, but you need to arrange it in alphabetical order. That becomes what? A b, right? Plus times plus, I have plus b times b becomes b squared. At this stage, I know that I can see like things. ab and ab, they can easily add up. That becomes a squared plus ab plus ab, that becomes 2ab plus b squared. So here is my answer after expansion. Here is the idea behind the real method of expansion. Let's take example 2 and let's see how we can solve it using what we call general method. If I have a to power 3, example 2, if I have a to power 3 and I'm told to expand a to power 3, what will I do? Right? A to power 3. I know very well that if I have m raised to power 3, it simply means what? M times m times m. Right? This can easily become m squared times m. It's still the same as this. Right? And we said initially that when we expanded this, if I want to expand this, it simply means this in 3 places. That becomes what? A plus b into a plus b into a plus b. It simply means this term is multiplying itself 3 times, right? So what do I do? Listen, what do I do? I know that when I expanded this 2 term here, this 2 term, I had this answer, right? So in that case, I can easily write this as saying what? A plus b squared into a plus b. This like this is this. I put it down. So, but recall that what? But recall that when we did the expansion of a plus b squared, we add what? We add a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. When we did the expansion of this, we had this answer. So I will now put, instead of putting this, I will replace this with this answer. That becomes what? I can even put things out first. A plus b, right? Into all this. A plus b squared is all this. That becomes a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Bracket it off. Right? What's my next approach? I will simply, what's the idea behind the general method? Simply take the first term, multiply by all the term in the other bracket. That becomes a into this a into all the term. A squared plus 2ab plus b squared plus b into that same term, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. I have this. My next approach is to expand. A times a squared, that becomes a cubed, plus a times 2ab, that becomes 2a squared b. Next up, I have a positive. A times b squared, that becomes ab squared. If I proceed, I will have plus b times a squared, that becomes a squared b. Instead of b a squared, it becomes a squared b. I will arrange it alphabetically. So next up, b times 2ab, that becomes what? Plus 2ab squared plus b times b squared, that becomes b cubed. B cubed. Next up, at that stage, what do I do? At that stage, what do I do? What's my next approach? I have a squared. Now my next approach is to look for like terms. I have 2a squared b and I have a squared b. They are like terms, right? I have a b squared and I have a 2ab squared. They are like terms. So I'll play like terms. So I'm having a cube. A cube is here, right? Plus 2a squared b. 2a squared b, right? And I have what? A squared b plus a squared b. I'm done with that. Next up, I have plus ab squared. Next up, plus ab squared plus what? 2ab plus 2ab squared, right? Then what? plus b cubed. I have successfully collected my like terms, right? As you can see what we're having. My next task is that I'll put down a to the power of 3 plus 2a squared b plus a squared b. That becomes what? Plus 3a squared b. Right? Next up, I have plus ab squared plus 2ab squared. That becomes what? Plus 3ab squared. Then lastly, plus b cubed. So here is my answer to that expansion we did. A plus b to the power of 3. Here's the answer to that expansion. Now let's take another example. Example 3. Let's see. Example 3. If I'm told to expand. Example 3. I'm told to expand a plus b to the power of 4. Yes. What do I do? I'm going to expand this. What do I do? Here's my idea, please. We said a plus b to the power of 4 can be written as what? This in 4 places. That becomes a plus b into a plus b into a plus b into a plus b. I know very well that when I expanded this 310, this, or let's say this can be written as a plus b into 3 into a plus b. Right? Yes. I can write this 3 as this and put down this. But we know that this thing here, when I expanded it, we have all these answers. So that becomes what? But we said a plus b to the power of 3 is equal to what? A cubed plus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared plus b cubed. Recall that. So now I'll now input, instead of putting a plus b cubed, I'll put all these 10. Bring out this. I have a plus b into all this is all this here. Now becomes a cubed plus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared, right? Plus b cubed. I have this. So in bracket off. So now the idea is that what? Pick the first term, multiply it by all the term in the other bracket. Simply pick the second term also, multiply by all the term in the other bracket. So doing that, as having a into, let's for space sake, I have a into all the term a cubed plus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared, right, plus b cubed. That is all for that. The second term, I have plus b into all the same term a cubed plus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared plus b cubed. I have all this. So now my next approach is to expand this using the idea of general method as we did in the previous examples. So what do I get, please? If I expand this, what do I get? Now, a multiplied by a cubed, I have a to the power 4 plus, let's for space sake, a to the power 4 plus a times 3a squared b. That becomes 3a to the power 3 and then b plus a multiplied 3a squared b. That becomes 3 squared b squared. 3a squared rather b squared. Similarly, I have a positive sign here. Therefore, a multiplied by 3 cubed, that becomes a b 3 to the power of 3. ab cubed, right? So this is the positive sign plus, now b times a cubed, that becomes a instead of b a cubed, you're going to put what? A cubed b. a cube b plus b multiplied by 3a squared b. I have 3a squared b squared. 3a squared b squared plus, if I multiply b multiplied by 3a b squared, that becomes 3ab cube. 3ab cube plus, let's say this plus, let's put it down here, plus b cube multiplied by a. Remember that b, I have b to power what? To power 4. Yes. Now, if I collect like that, please. Question, are they like terms here? Yes, of course, they are like terms. I have 3a cube b, and I have a cube b, and I have a cube b here. So this I can add up with this. So now let's do that. Collecting line terms, I'll be having a to power 4 plus 3a cube b, then what? Plus what? A cube b. A cube b. I'm done with that. I've collected this one. I've collected this one. To avoid mistakes, so we can note it. This is plus b to power 4. The continuation of this. Next up, I have this left. Plus 3a squared b squared. I've collected this one. The like terms of this becomes what? A squared b squared. The 3 is 1. So plus 3a squared b squared. I'm done with this. Next up, I can see this left. Right? And I can see this left. So I'll have what? Plus a b cube plus what? A b cube. They are the same. They are like terms. Plus 3ab cube. Then lastly, I have this. I'm taking this. I'm taking this. I'm left with nothing. I'm taking this too. Use it here. So I'm left with what? Nothing except for what? B to the power 4 plus b to the power 4. Right? So I'm taking this. So I'm taking everything. So to avoid a mistake, you can just use your pencil to underline those terms you have already created their like terms. So to avoid mistake, that is why I did this. Next up, if I proceed, if I add up, I get what this. If I add that term up, I get what? I will have a to the power 4. Now plus 3a cube b plus a cube b, that becomes plus 4a cube b. Right? I'm done with this too. Plus 3a squared b squared plus 3a squared b squared, and that becomes plus 6a squared b squared. I'm done with this. Right? Plus ab cube plus 3ab cube, rather cube, 3ab cube. This cube that is here, 3ab cube. That becomes what? Plus 4ab cube. And lastly, I'm left with this plus b to the power 4. Here is my answer after expanding that term. So here's the idea behind general method of expansion of what? Of numbers. Thanks for watching.